All right, Coach, you want to just open it up with a statement about this weekend? Huge first ever win against West Virginia in program history.
Yeah, it was a very good victory and a very good, solid performance all around, both from a defensive standpoint and an attacking standpoint. And we really enjoyed this weekend and took a little bit of time away. But the lads understand that, we're nowhere near even qualifying for the tournament yet. So we've got a lot of work ahead of us, and they've prepared themselves really well this week.
How are you going to kind of build off of that victory? I mean, that's most likely the biggest win that you've had since you've been here. How are you guys going to build off of that?
Well, I think we just got to keep focusing on one game at a time. Obviously, in the back of our minds, we know that we're in good form right now and we're playing very well, and our top players are playing very well, which is very important. But at the same time, that could all change on Saturday if we don't prepare properly, and it's just focusing on every game-by-game scenario and making sure we're ready to go. Russ,
do you feel like the offense, your game and the whole offense in general, the confidence is at an all-time high right now? Scored 3 goals against West Virginia. Are you guys at an all-time high?
Yeah, I think so. Everybody's moving the ball extremely fast. Everybody's being smart. We just look very strong going forward, and I'm confident in our abilities.
Do you guys consider, as much as you focus on the game by game, what you might be building? Is that something that you guys talk about at all, or is it that narrowed to this game this week?
I think, since we got here, and Austin and Russell will know this because they've been with me from the start, that we've just focused on winning that next game, win, lose or draw in that previous game. So we don't look any further ahead of that, and we're literally just focusing on Northern Illinois right now.
You guys obviously have some injuries to deal with. Do you have any updates there? Or?
Yeah, well, unfortunately, Russell hasn't been able to train all week. He took a big hit there and on his shoulder last week, so we don't know what the scenario is going to be for him this weekend, unfortunately. And Ryan Pereira is still out with, he's probably going to be a red shirt this season with a broken foot that he sustained in preseason.
You said guys seem to, and Russ, when you draw as much attention as you tend to do, guys get pretty physical. And I think about the Akron game, and I think about the last game. Have you noticed more attention to yourself in a physical way?
Yeah, I would say so, especially the last 2 games, taking hits like that in the last 5 minutes of both those games, the Akron to my head and the West Virginia onto my shoulder. I mean, when I'm producing like that, I feel like guys are going to come after me.
At the same time, you guys are a very physical team. Over the last few years, we've seen that you guys don't back down or anything like that. So is there a part of you that maybe relishes the chance to, this is for any of you guys, to knock some people around a bit?
Austin?
I think definitely from the defensive side, I think Fox and Nick have done a great job in being kind of our brutality guys in there. So they like to get into tackles, especially Nick and Fox. So, but I think defensively, I think we definitely don't back down. I think especially the 2 guys in front of us, David and Cram, they've done a great job holding there and just screening those passes. So they're doing well back there.
Is that the biggest difference from last year when you guys think about your team, is how much better you're defending?
I think it is, but I think it just comes down to the maturity of the group now. They're a couple of years older and they've played 40 games together, so we're seeing that come out every week, and we have the feeling going into games that we're not going to concede a goal. And if it comes on a penalty kick and a set piece like it did against Akron, well, we've limited top teams to no chances, and West Virginia, again, really had no clear-cut chances against us. So I think we're doing a really good job defensively right now.
Austin, defensively, how much easier is it when you see that ball go in the back of the net? Starting to score some goals now, it seems like the offense is finding its way. Russ has scored a goal in 6 straight games. Does that make you guys back there take a little bit of the pressure off?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a huge weight off our shoulders because we know that now we can take a breath, relax into the game a little bit. And Russ has been producing since day one. So now that we have Marcus and Scott and Stryker and Scales now up there, they're also helping us out as well.
Russ, how have some of those other guys kind of helped you get some room out there? Marcus scored a goal on Friday night too. Talk a little bit about how those guys have helped you a little bit.
Yeah, when those guys are producing, it takes a lot of weight off my shoulders. Allows me to relax into the game and be more comfortable on the ball. And then when the other team's going to have to start dealing with them a lot more, it gets me in a lot more 1v1 situations where I can work my stuff.
What's been the biggest change defensively for you since the beginning of the season? It seems like you guys, the last 2 games especially, really buckled down back there. What has been the biggest change?
I think it's just the desire to get to every ball, to win every header, to win every tackle, and I think now that we're able to connect out of the back a little bit, we're not just lumping balls forward. I think we're able to play back there, and that gives us a bit more confidence, especially defensively as well. But I think, like Stu was saying, we have another year on our belt. 2 sophomores and 2 juniors in the back line now. So I think experience-wise, we're good to go, and I think that's the biggest change.
Stu, how important is it this weekend, this game, for your hopeful playoff push? I mean, you guys haven't made the playoffs since 2011. How big is that for you as a program to get this win this weekend and make that MAC tournament?
I think the next 3 games are equally as important. We just got to again focus on one game at a time. But we know if we come out with a good result this weekend, we'll be in the driving seat for that spot in the semi-finals. So the lads understand what's at stake. They know it's an equally important game for Northern Illinois because they have 1 victory already as well. I think it's going to be a great match, and we're really prepared and ready to go.
At the same time, when you guys go on the road now, it can be, it's a good preparation. It's a good start point for any potential playoff game. Well, hopefully it's here as well. But as you move forward, winning these big games on the road is a huge step for you.
Absolutely, and we've always played well at home since I took over 3 seasons ago, and in our last away game we won 6-0 against a local rival. So we're ready, we're in great form, and we're really looking forward to this challenge on Saturday night.
Austin, last week Marcus mentioned that you guys are in playoff mode already. How fun is that for you guys to be in playoff mode? How much is that way better to feel like your back is against the wall?
Yeah, absolutely. I think especially the first 2 years, I think we weren't necessarily into that playoff mode just yet. Now that we've got the big win against West Virginia and unfortunate result against Akron, but we know we can compete at the highest level. I think definitely that playoff push is there, and it just makes training a lot more fun because more people are competitive. They want to be in that starting group. They want to be on the field playing in that playoff. So,
As being in as good of a conference as you're in, it forces you to have your antenna up the whole time. You can't possibly miss any game. Do you appreciate that there's never, not that you would take any game for granted in the first place, but that there's never any downtime in being in such a good conference?
Yeah, I mean, I think a couple of the coaches have referenced it already this season. That it's probably the highest level it's ever been because there's no drop-off in terms of the teams that you face. Everyone can beat anyone on any given day. But, I think what is giving us that edge right now is that full week of preparation, and that was specifically done in scheduling to make sure that we had a week to prepare for each match, whereas every opponent that faces us has a midweek game there, which I hope affects them in some way.
Surely the fact that they are playing a midweek gives more opportunity to see what's going on and feel what's going on in the landscape, and you guys are just building off the momentum from the week before.
Well, that's right. Obviously you never know what game plan other teams are going to come up with for us, but it's always nice to see them in their most recent game before we have to face them.
Good. Great, guys.